Hey, how you doing? So I want to tell you a story about how when I was younger, I was periodically bullied. So it's definitely to other people who've gone through this, you know, it's not a fun thing, and it leaves lifelong scars. But you know, anyway, so in the early '70s, for 4 years, I went to sleepaway camp in Maine, and there were these two kids there who would torment me. Uh, and I remember, like one time when I won the color war, and they didn't. One of them beat me up. All sorts of terrible things. So after I was in their bunk the first of the 4 years, and then after that, they put me in a different bunk from them. So I didn't have as much to do with them, but still wasn't that good. So in the fourth year, I was, once in a while, you didn't have an activity to go to. So you could hang out in the bunk or do whatever you want. It was a very progressive camp in that respect. So I had one of these periods, and I was just sitting on my bunk, in the middle of the day, and one of those two kids walked in the bunk, and he didn't see me for some reason. I was sitting on my bunk, and he didn't see me, and he walked over to one of the kids' living areas, and he took money from his from his area. I saw him. So there had been a problem in camp with someone stealing, taking money from campers. So I told one of the older counselors, and I made a promise, not to say who told him, or even to say anything, if I remember. And anyway, long story short, I really don't really know what happened. Was that in short order, these two kids were ordered kicked out of camp. And I remember when we were going to the dining hall the day before these two guys were kicked out, and it was probably for dinner. One of them slammed me up against the wall of the dining hall, and he said, "I know you did it. I know," and he was threatening me. And they were gone after that. I haven't been able to find out what happened to these two guys, after. They have very generic type names, and I'm a pretty good Googler, but I really, the only thing I know is, they grew up, I know the addresses where they grew up, and they grew up on the same street. That's it. But otherwise, I have no idea what happened to these people as adults. It's always interesting, if you've been bullied, to see what happens to these people. It really sucks when someone who bullied you as an adult becomes really, really successful. I've had that happen too. My neighbor was like that. Absolutely horrible human being. He became, well, anyway, financially very successful. A lot of bullies end up blowing up. They end up not doing well, but not all of them. So, and anyway, that's the only time I could ever remember out of many, many times where I actually got back at the people that bullied me. The other times, when you see these stories on TV or the internet where the person who's bullied gets back at the people, these are really rare events that, it almost never happens. It's just, bullying's a terrible thing. So anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting, and that's a true story. So, okay.